All right, hello and welcome back to the Conversational Hypnosis Academy. Again, my name is Scott Jansen. Thank you so much for jumping on board with our brand new training. What we're going to be looking at today is a technique or method that's very close to my heart. It was something that when I first learned to become a hypnotherapist was something I utilized a lot because it was the only skill I had. And what I want to take you for people that are listening to this product is over the next couple of sessions starting to explore this idea of hypnotic convincers and how we can use hypnotic convincers to not only elicit trance, but actually start to strategize in a lot more of a convenient way of how to use it inside hypnosis, how to use it for hypnosis, but also how to use it to deepen trance and also prove the power of hypnosis to the actual clients that we work with. So we're very fortunate to have Marianne on board. Hello, Marianne. How are you?
Hi Scott, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you so much for jumping on board with this. We spoke a couple of weeks back, and I know you were very keen to look at this side of hypnosis. But I just wanted to ask you before we get started and before we jump into the main content of what we're going to be going through, I was just curious, have you done any hypnosis training before or anything like that?
Yeah, I've done a bit of training and I've used scripts and haven't seemed to be working when
Okay.
I use scripts.
hmm Okay. So
So
it just wasn't working for yourself or wasn't working for your clients? What was happening?
mainly for the client, it just doesn't seem to work on everybody,
Okay.
and I'm just wondering if there's more to it
hmm
that can be done.
Yep. And I know
Because
you had a bit of a fascination with the conversational side of thing, which is our expertise. So hopefully this lands exactly or gives you exactly what you need to. You can use scripts with this idea and method, but also show you a way to almost dump the scripts for good, and how you can use this single idea to start to work with clients in a bit more of a convenient fashion, without all the setup and the things the scripts often tend to have and tend to come along with. We're going to get rid of all your worries and all the things that may prevent you from actually having a successful hypnotherapy session. Okay?
that would be great.
Excellent. All right. So what I want to do to set a bit of a context to where we are, the idea of what I have in mind is to start, like I said, to start to explore this hypnotic convincer. Now, have you heard, being you've done a little bit of training, Marianne, have you heard of this idea of a hypnotic convincer before?
I have heard of it, but I'm not too sure
Okay.
100% on it.
That's fine. So if you think about the idea of a hypnotic convincer, the idea of convincing somebody that they are in trance would be a necessary step for us to take as hypnotherapists. Would you agree?
Definitely.
Excellent. So what we're also going to look at is it can be called a hypnotic convincer or hypnotic phenomena. Now the hypnotic phenomena is a idea that's very scattered throughout the hypnosis industry, especially in the old text and old literature in hypnosis. But it's such a great idea, but a lot of hypnotherapists believe in the idea. They agree that it would be a profound thing to learn for themselves as a therapist, but not a lot of therapists know how to do it. They don't know how to create these hypnotic phenomena, but if they do, they don't know how to use them. So that's what I want to spend the next 3 or 4 sessions with you to show you how you can create these spontaneous phenomena, but how you can actually use it inside your hypnotherapy session for more success and to also prove to your clients that they have been hypnotized. Okay, so if you recall the sessions you've done maybe with a couple of clients, what were the main key factors that you're running into that seem to have some problems around it?
Just clients not necessarily going into a trance.
Mhm. Okay. Have you come across any clients that say something like this? I don't believe in hypnosis, or I wasn't hypnotized before.
Definitely, and that makes them really hard because they're coming into the session not believing it can happen.
That's right. And for you as a therapist, having that idea in your mind, how does that make you feel while considering that as an idea?
Well, it makes me feel nervous because if they believe that it can't be hypnotized,
hmm
whatever I do is not going to work.
Yes, spot on. You're 100% correct, and this is exactly what this method's going to be about today. We're going to look at this deep trance orientation. So we're going to be orientating our clients to deep trance, but it's not just the fact of getting them into trance. We need to also prove it to them through the way of hypnotic phenomena like spontaneous movement or lack of ability to move or speak or forgetting ideas and memories very quickly. We're going to look at how we can create these spontaneously, but as we get into more advanced version of this method towards the end of our process, the next couple of sessions, we'll look at how we can not necessarily create them, but how to look for them, because they're always happening naturally as well. Okay.
Yep.
So just consider, as we go through our training together, just imagine, I guess we could say, how your success rate would skyrocket if you could bypass those people that say, you know what, hypnosis isn't real, or I can't be hypnotized. Imagine your success if you had something that was so simple to not tell them about, but show them, so they could not deny their own experience. Wouldn't that be a great tool to have?
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. All right. So what I want to do is let's just break down a little bit more context. And then what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you, is let's spend this session actually taking you through the process. And then what I'll do over the next 2 to 3 sessions after this initial session is start to break down the actual linear approach, the questions we can ask, the process down to a formatted scheme so you can actually use it, follow it. But the biggest thing for me is to make sure you can experience it. Would you be happy with that?
Definitely. It'd be awesome.
Excellent. All right. So before we get into this little demo that we're going to do in a moment, let's break down exactly what we're going to be getting over this next 3 to 4 sessions. So as we mentioned, we're going to look at the deep trance orientation. We're going to look at how to explore, or we explore this idea of hypnotic convincers, how to bypass the unbelievers of hypnosis, the people that say, you know what, hypnosis is rubbish, I don't believe in it, or I've been hypnotized before, it didn't work. We're going to utilize these responses and use them to put them in trance. Also, to show, one of my favorites is to show potential clients the power of hypnosis. Okay. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody who's found out that you're a therapist and they want to know all about it?
Yes, all the time.
And what we're taught as therapists, and I don't want to knock this as an approach, is to sit there and tell our clients or potential clients what hypnosis is or what hypnosis isn't. Okay. Now, this has been done by numerous amounts of courses, so I don't want to rehash an idea that's already predominantly out there already and viewed as, you know, it's not a bad idea. What we want to do is not spend too much time telling our clients about hypnosis, but we want to spend some time showing them, because we want to show them so they can believe it instead of just listening to our words. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because I know if I have a question about something, maybe not in the field of hypnotherapy, that if I'm looking for an answer while someone's telling me the idea around the question I've presented, I'm not really listening, or I'm not paying attention, or my mind drifts off until I get to the part I really want to pay attention to. But if there was somehow that person could show me the answer to that question, or have me experience the answer that I'm looking for, I'd be a lot more in tune to listen. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Excellent. We're going to look at how to master the utilization principle. So the utilization principle can be quite an advanced technique, but what we're going to explore is how can we utilize anything and everything our client says to us, but also how our clients feel. Okay. And we're also going to look at how to attach a therapeutic outcome to these hypnotic phenomena, which is a very cool tool to have, because it means that we can attach anything that happens with a client inside a session and direct it towards therapy. Okay, we're not just putting people in trance for the sake of it. We're going to utilize these trances because our clients come in for smoking problems, weight loss problems, anxiety issues, and whatnot. We want to start to work in a therapeutic way. So not only are we showing them the power of hypnosis, but they can actually get something from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Excellent. And the last big umbrella to all of this is we're going to be using external factors. We're also going to be using a client's anxieties and fears and worries about what hypnosis is and how it feels. And as with most therapists, we're taught to make our clients feel comfortable. We're taught to make sure they're ready to go, make sure there's no worries or anxieties, and if there is, find out what it is and what it isn't, all that sort of stuff, which is a great approach. But sometimes it can drag on and it can take a long time to get through. So what I want to introduce you to is how can we use those anxieties and those worries to actually elicit trance instead of working around them. We're going to work right through those problems to create a therapeutic outcome. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you'll be thanking your lucky stars when your clients come in and say, hey, I feel really anxious about hypnosis, or I'm a little bit scared. You can almost clap your hands with joy because you'll know exactly how to use it for a more positive outcome than not. Okay?
Yeah.
Excellent. So have you got any questions before we start about any of the criteria that we're going to be breaking down over the next couple of sessions before we get started?
No, I'm
Excellent.
looking forward.
Excellent. So how about we do this? Well, let's take you through a quick demo. It's not going to be the full demo because there's a couple of things I want to keep out of it in regards to the actual therapy. We can do that more in the last session, so we might get another demo involved. But what I want to take you through is the very simple process of this deep trance orientation. Now, we're going to be setting up the foundations for you to experience this hypnotic phenomena, whatever that might be. When we look at hypnotic phenomena, we're considering things like automatic movement, or you fall into trance straight away, or you get a bit of time distortion, or you find your body inability to move, or a little bit of inability to speak. I want you to experience these phenomena for a specific reason. One thing that I found as a therapist over the last 14 years of my life, the more I experienced the things I wanted my clients to, the better the outcome was. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's almost like we have to go there first to know exactly what it is about and what it feels like, because then we've got more opportunity to direct our client towards that way. And it allows us to understand exactly where a client could be inside the trance process or inside the hypnotic phenomena process, because we've got a rough idea because we've been there before. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Excellent. So let's set this up really, really simple. Let's take a couple of minutes to do this. Now, your only expectations for this is just to enjoy it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to feel pretty unusual, the normal reports that we get back. And we're just going to have a chat. Obviously, we are learning conversational hypnosis. So on my side, I'm not scripting any of this. I'm not writing any stuff down. We're just going to go with the flow. But I'm going to utilize a simple 4-step process that I'm going to introduce you to on the next session. That'll break down this exact process I'm going to take you through now. So you'll have all the tools to basically do what I do after a little bit of practice. Does that sound all right?
That sounds awesome.
Excellent. All right. So are you seated right now, Marianne, or you're standing, or give me an idea of how you're positioned right now?
I'm seated at my desk at the moment.
Okay. So you're seated at your desk.
Yep.
And your hands free, feet on the floor. What else is happening?
My feet are on the floor and my hands are resting on top of my desk.
Okay. So feet are on the floor and hands resting on top of the desk. Okay. And you're feeling comfortable right now?
Yes.
Excellent. So what I'd like you to do in a moment is just consider those hands that are resting on the desk. And what I'm sort of curious about is hands can rest, and so can bodies, in totally different ways. And what I'm curious about is which one of your hands feels maybe a little bit more rested than the other one.
My left hand.
So your left hand feels more rested.
Yeah.
Left hand rested. And how are you feeling right now, knowing that that left hand can just rest like that?
Pretty good.
Pretty good? Excellent. So what I'm even more curious about now, if that left hand is resting more than the right, what's the right hand doing differently then than the left?
It feels a bit lighter.
It feels a bit lighter. It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now, do you normally sit there in a comfortable position with one left hand that's resting while the right hand's feeling lighter?
Not normally, no.
Not normally. And are you surprised by this?
Yeah, because I don't really take much notice of your hands.
That's right, you normally don't take much notice. But you can notice that that left hand can rest while the right hand feels lighter, right?
Yes.
And it's an unusual thing to really consider, isn't it?
Yes.
And what's happening with that right hand that was feeling lighter before? How's that doing right now?
It's still feeling light.
Still feeling light. And how do you do that to make a right hand feel light?
I don't know.
You really don't know, do you?
No.
You really don't know how you can sit there and notice that the left hand can rest while the right hand does something completely different and feels lighter.
They're both tingling now.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
So how do you do that to go from a resting left hand to a lighter right hand now to be tingly? How do you do that?
I don't know.
You don't know. But you can feel it, can't you?
Yeah.
That's right. You can feel those hands. And how are you feeling right now?
A bit more relaxed in my chair.
Bit more relaxed in your chair. And did you know that your hands could teach you how to feel a bit more relaxed in your chair like this?
No.
No. Unusual to have a hand teach you something about relaxation, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can rest in that chair. And what's happening to that left hand right now, the one that was rested before?
It feels really heavy.
Feels really heavy. So the left hand's heavy. And the right hand?
They both feel warm.
You mean they've gone from different sensations to tingly, now feel warm?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unusual to have hands that have their own feelings like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. And what's happening to the rest of you right now?
I feel like I'm melting into my chair.
Feel like you're melting. Nice feeling to have, isn't it?
Yep.
You can melt right on into your chair while noticing your hands can do something different to teach you about going into hypnosis more easily. And this isn't the normal way you normally go into trance, is it?
No.
But it probably feels the same or more, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To have hands that can teach you to melt into a chair. And what I'm curious about now is I wonder how your unconscious mind will surprise you next by lifting one of your hands all by itself. And do you know which hand would lift first?
A right one?
The right one.